Thank you guys. I'm glad to be here with you guys virtually. This is kind of cool. I know Christian was talking about that, the ability to adjust, and technology has brought that. So we're all here together. And as you guys get ready to start the new school year, I'm sure that also comes with the expectation of a better future. And part of that better future is really addressing some of the issues we've seen come to light in our societies, specifically diversity, inclusion, and social justice. Now, I think all of us are aware from West Coast to the East Coast how much demonstration, how much people have been really crying for change. And so I ask myself, how do we get better from here? And I think it's a big question that some of you guys may have concerns as you walk into the new school year. And to me, when it comes to diversity, inclusion, social justice, the answer is simple. It's conversation over confrontation. And conversation is really this interactive communication between, two or more people where you're going back and forth. Confrontation, though, which is different, obviously, is a hostile communication between opposing parties. And I think oftentimes what we've seen so far in our society is that we've seen this polarity where you've got this side and that side. And growing up in South Central Los Angeles and Crenshaw is Bloods and Crips. That's what it feels like sometimes. And so for any of you guys who are from that area, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I think in order to have a real conversation, you have to have a safe space to be able to express your thoughts, your opinions, and even your ignorance. And I think about my time at San Diego State. For me, the locker room was that safe space, that safe place to where I knew that I could grow. The truth is, I mentioned I grew up in South Los Angeles in Crenshaw District. I grew up in an all-Black community. Didn't have white friends because I didn't have white people who lived in my neighborhood. I had a lot of prejudices that I didn't know. I prejudged my white teammates because I only knew what I knew from television or whatever it was that was out in front of me. And I think about my white teammates who grew up in similar situations. I think about them who didn't have Black teammates, didn't have Black friends. And we came into this new locker room, San Diego State, and we were ignorant together, but we learned a lot from each other. And we were allowed to be able to have these conversations to where we could expose our ignorances without being, confrontational, going, hold on, you think that's not the way it is. And we were able to have this, I call like a real authentic conversation. What I've seen as of late, there's a lot of condemnation that happens to conversations. When I think about conflict, and as we've seen, whether it's on campus, whether it's in the athletic department, in the world, wherever it might be, most conflict in the world comes from this lack of empathy. Empathy is this imaginative experience. And when I say imaginative experience, I think about being able to imagine yourself in someone else's shoes. So get this, you can't empathize with another human being without imagination. Empathy is your ability to be willing to put yourself in someone else's experience. For me, that was my father. And I know a lot of you guys have it, whether you're a freshman coming in or you're a senior, we've all had that relationship with our parents where we think we know more than our parents. It's a funny story, but I think it's an important anecdote in being able to empathize with someone. And I didn't get this until I was much, much older. But my father came to this country from Nigeria, and water was different for him than it was for me. Even though we grew up, quote unquote, and I say quote unquote, poor, it was totally different from how he grew up. And so he had to fetch water from miles away and bring it back and make that trek back and forth to fill up a big old trash can. But I didn't know that. I didn't get that. But my dad, in his thick Nigerian accent, would knock on the door. Dun, 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 dun. Turn off the water. Why are you wasting water? Are you crazy? This is too much. I'm like, Dad, I've been in the shower for 3 minutes. Like, leave me alone. Like, I'm getting upset with my dad, but I didn't have that perspective until I went to Nigeria many, many years later. And I go, oh, that's why my dad was so upset with us, because he had a different appreciation for the value of water. While as a smart kid, I thought I knew everything. And I was trying to prove that I was right. Dad, my shower is 8 minutes. Look at how much water can you waste in 8 minutes? I'm trying to prove a point to my dad. And I say this to you. And this is what I want to present to you guys. I present to you, instead of trying to be right, try to understand, because right will speak for itself. And I think in that manner, in that story from my dad, is that right spoke for itself. My dad didn't have to drill it into me. I should have been more open to having a conversation and understanding, well, why was my dad so adamant about me not wasting water?